What's going on, golf addicts? I got three DFS sleepers, all owned below 10% for right now. Actually, below like 7% right now for the Charles Schwab 2022. Going to save you some money. Going to give you some ownership leverage with some of these plays. Get you some pivot plays. That's what it's all about in DFS for tournaments. There's definitely some inherent risk with these guys, right? But there's also some upside. Every player I'm about to give you has won a PGA Tour event in the past, and I think all but one of them have won multiple times on the PGA Tour, and they're rounding into some form in certain areas. I'm excited about it. Five of the top highest nine projected owned players on Fantasy National as of late Tuesday afternoon are in the 7K range. Most of them in the upper 7K range. There's a lot of good names up there: Chris Kirk, Brian Harmon, Harold Varner, to name just a few. These guys are in the mid to low 7K range and likely fall in maybe a little bit of a dead spot. And they're not the sexiest names in the world to click, but I do think they give you a pretty low or pretty high floor in terms of made cut percentage, but all have upside, I think, to a top 15, top 10 upside for sure at Colonial Country Club. I'm going to get started. Let's get to it. All right. The first play I'm going to give you is actually in the 6K range, and he's at 6.9K. He's a multiple PGA Tour winner. He's a Scotsman. He loves the wind. It's going to get windy at Colonial this weekend, and it's Russell Knox. I want to open up Fantasy National and take a look at Russell Knox and what's going on there. You'll see here with old Russell Knox. Definitely sucks putting. That's his problem. He can't putt anywhere. Now his worst surface is Bermuda. He gets bent grass here. That's good. He does play well in average and difficult scoring conditions. I think that's kind of what we're going to see here. The over-under on the winning score for right now is set at around 11 and a half under. So this is not a 21 under birdie fest. This will be a little bit more of a difficult track. And I like that he gains strokes no matter what. Definitely gains strokes in moderate wind conditions, which is what we're likely to see. Maybe a few little windy AF hours in the day, depending on when he's playing. But I like that about Russell Knox. And then when we look at his long-term overall picture as a player, it's pretty solid tee to green. Like, he's a very solid tee to green player, hits a lot of fairways. He's going to check that box for you. He's like seventh in the last 36 rounds in fairways gained. He scores well on par fours, especially the shorter ones, which we do have here at Colonial. He's 33rd in the field in strokes gained par four scoring. He did miss the cut at the PGA Championship, but it wasn't a horrible week. He didn't have something that just really, really sucked. He just didn't do great. Okay. And the last 5, 6 events have not been great for Russell Knox. As you see here in the beginning of the year, when he had these high finishes, consistently in the top 35 or so, a lot of dark green here in the approach column, a lot of green here as well. He's maintaining the green, but it's just not dark green, right? He's not gaining a ton of strokes on approach, but he's very capable of it. Gained 3 strokes on approach at the Wells Fargo. The ball striking hasn't really disappeared. It's just not as strong as it was. But look at his performance at the Charles Schwab. He's never lost strokes on approach at the Charles Schwab in, so what's that, 6 tries. 2 missed cuts, one last year, one miscut in 2020. I kind of tossed that out a little bit because it was the first event after COVID. Who knows how rusty he was, what was going on? We don't know. But a top 10, T20, T24, T21 in his other 4 tries. This is definitely a course that should suit Russell Knox's game. Let's take a look at his incoming form leading into last year's Charles Schwab, where he missed the cut. So we see last year, this is unfortunate. Like, look how good the irons were last year coming into here. But then he lost strokes off the tee, which is definitely strange for Russell Knox. Let's look at his accuracy numbers here. If we go to distance and accuracy, you can see here it never has a problem gaining fairways. Like, very, very good there. Very good. Let's look at last year's Charles Schwab. Let's see. Here's last year's Charles Schwab. Okay. So the reason he may have missed the cut and lost all those strokes off the tee is look at the fairways gain number. He lost 3.3 strokes fairways gained, or 3.3 fairways at the Charles Schwab in just 2 rounds. That is very abnormal for Russell Knox. In fact, since that time, look at this. Since that time, nothing but green in the fairways gain column. Look at that. Nothing but green. The odds of him doing that again, not very high. I think he's going to gain strokes off the tee, which is definitely going to help him set up better with his irons, and he's a good iron player. I think this is a course built for him, and it's $6,900. He's projected to come in around 5%. I think that makes Russell Knox an interesting play and definitely gives you upside. I think Russell Knox genuinely has top 5 upside, top 10 upside at a course like this. He's a seasoned player, a veteran. He can get it done. All right, the next play I'm going to drop for you is not a sexy name. Okay, it feels like you're clicking on, I mean, if you're looking through your yearbook, your senior year, and you're showing your mom, and you're like, look, here's these girls, and oh, this is the hottest girl in school right here, and then this, and then your mom points to this one over here. She goes, oh, she's kind of cute, and you're like, okay, mom, yeah, like cute is definitely the word, but maybe barely. It depends on what she's wearing, what she, it depends on a lot of things that day. Like she could not be cute one day and be kind of cute the next day, but she's not like a vixen, right? That's this next guy at 7,100, projected around 7% in terms of ownership. He's won on the PGA Tour one time. He's the only player here that's only won one time, and it's Nate Lashley. Nasty Nate Lashley. But dang, dude, Nate is in form, y'all. Let's check out Nate. Now, this is not good. We're on bent grass. Here's a wart on that old cute girl, the cute girl in the yearbook, right? Here's a wart. Sucks on bent grass. Okay. Not great in the wind. Pretty good in average or difficult conditions. Look over the long term in Nate's career, gains a lot of strokes with his approach play. Short game's good. Off the tee struggles a little bit, but look at where he's at right now. Sorry about choked on something. Really, since February, he's kind of turned up, or really, I guess since March. Seventh at Puerto Rico, that's a crappy field. Valspar, okay, that's not terrible. That's Copperhead, Innisbrook, that's a tough place. Corrales, okay. Valero in Texas, okay, week before the Masters. I don't like this miscut at all here at the RBC Heritage. It looks like just a pretty off week in general, though, like red across the board. Usually we don't get that with Nate. 11th at the Mexico and 17th at the Byron Nelson, another Texas event. So, his last two Texas events, a 17th and an 18th. We like that for Nasty Nate. The irons are definitely peaking right now. Like he's having some really good iron weeks. Let's look at his record here at the Charles Schwab. 32nd last year, miscut in June of 2020. But again, like Russell Knox, I kind of tossed that out with the COVID thing. 69th the year before that. Okay. So it's not bad. Like he's got some laps around here. We've seen people win this golf tournament with not great history, but just some history, some knowledge of Colonial Country Club. Now, here's what Nate does well is not clubhead speed. That's what he does not do well. He gains a lot of fairways, right? And look, you can see here at the Heritage, like clearly he had an issue hitting fairways, which again, I don't like this, but he's 7,100, 7% owned, but he's doing, look at a lot. It's a lot of green right here. A lot of fairways gained right here lately for Nate. So I like that. Let's take a look at his proximity buckets. I don't even know what this looks like. This could be bad. This could make him uglier to everybody. I may not be selling you here, so we'll see. No, this is good. I like these ranges here. This 100 to 150 range is going to be a popular bucket in terms of approach shots for Colonial. And look at what he's doing here. The wedge play has been pretty solid here. A lot of dark green. I like that. The wedge play has been good. 150 and in's been good for Nate. So I think Nate Lashley at $7,100 and 7% ownership is worth a look. Now, the Sleepers video is brought to you by our friends at Front Nine Coffee. It's artisan coffee. It's not even roasted. If you order it today, your coffee's not roasted yet. So it's not sitting there getting old, getting stale, getting nasty, getting gnarly. Okay. The beans are fresh when you order it, and then they're going to roast them. And then you can pick your grind, or if you want whole bean, whatever, coarse or fine grind. They package it up when you order it right after they roast the beans. They ship it anywhere in the US and Canada, and they're supporting the Tour Junkies podcast through September. And we really appreciate that. They're going to be present at our live golf event in September, making coffee drinks and coffee cocktails for the group. They're great people, local, small business owned right here in Augusta, Georgia, and roasted and shipped out of Greenville, South Carolina. Great folks. And we're really appreciative of them sponsoring the Tour Junkies in general and the Sleepers video every single week. So go to front9coffee.com, use promo code TJ10. Make sure you use TJ10 in the promo code and get you some coffee delivered to your door. And you can use that promo code every time you order. Okay. And this is coffee for golfers. So use it every time you order and enjoy. All right. Last two picks. The next one is another play at 7,100 and around 6%, 7% owned. Now, this guy, I've coined the name Stifler's mom because, when he came out and won in his elder years, it was just like the MILF, right? It was just the older lady that, was good looking. And that's kind of Stewart Cink. That's who I'm talking about is our boy Stewie Cink. And Stewie Cink's kind of turned it up lately here too. So let's open Stewart Cink up on Fantasy National. Take a look at what we're working with now. Obviously, he's added distance. We've everybody's noted that he's added some distance in the last year or so. Um, Probably led to him contending more often. Gain strokes on bent grass, although not very much. At least it's not POA, thank God. Gain strokes in average or difficult. Probably prefers that apparently through his data here on Fantasy National. That's good. Gain strokes in moderate wind conditions, which is what we're going to get most of this week for sure. And look at what he's been doing the last few weeks. The 68th at the Heritage was very disappointing, considering he was the defending champion, um, and it should suit his game. It was definitely disappointing. Obviously, the 5.6 strokes lost off the tee is what really killed him. It's actually surprising he gained strokes on approach despite being that bad off the tee and setting himself up pretty poorly. But really, since the Valspar, seventh place finish there with 5.1 strokes gained on approach. That's really good. The Masters miscut there, but look at the strokes gain approach numbers. Very good for Stewart Cink. He's probably going to be clubbing down a little bit here, I would imagine, off the tee just to put himself in the fairway. But hit the ball really well at the PGA Championship, really well at the Wells Fargo. Let's take a look at his Charles Schwab stats. He hasn't played here since 2018. A 58th, a 10th, and two miscuts. I don't love that. I wish he played here more. Not sure why. Maybe it's a scheduling thing. But Stewart Cink has some upside, I think, at 7,100 and around 6% owned. Now, before I get to the last guy, and this one could ruffle some feathers. Before I get to the last guy, please give me a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video, click the share, copy the link, send it to a friend that you know enjoys DraftKings, DFS, whatever. That helps us out a lot. That's the best thing you can do for us. If you enjoy all the free content we put out, which all of it is free except for the Nut Hut, if you enjoy all that, then do that for us. Share the video, tell somebody about the Tour Junkies. We would appreciate it. Now, last week I had this guy in the sleepers video, and I think it paid off. I really do. He was very low owned. He scored all right. I finished 34th, I think, but super low owned, saved you some cash, and it did pretty good. And it's interesting to see that potentially Patrick Reed could be coming back to life, back to life, back to reality. Look at P. Reed here. All right, he's been sucking. All right, he's been sucking. Miscut, 42nd, 35th, 26th, whatever. Been sucking. Right. Last top 10 was in October at the Bermuda. Okay. Everything really fell off for P. Reed, kind of as at the end of last year, the end of the summer. It just didn't go very well. But he's not that far removed from being from being normal Patrick Reed. 5.2 strokes on approach is the most he's gained on approach since the Memorial Tournament last year, which is very promising. I've talked about this on the podcast. The short game has not left Patrick Reed either. It's really kind of been there. So in these windy conditions that we're going to get for Colonial this weekend, especially, people are going to miss some of these small greens. You're going to have to get up and down, and I like P. Reed for that reason. Obviously, very good on bent grass greens. It's his best surface. Very good on average or difficult tracks. Very good in the wind. He's a Texas guy. Like, Colonial sets up great for P. Reed. Let's look at his record at Colonial. 5 attempts, 1 miscut, and it was last year. And he really probably barely missed it. Like, this isn't super terrible. But, overall, putts this place pretty well. His short game helps him for sure. Good week there in 2015 with the iron play. Ball striking is a little sus, but it always has been for Reed, right? We've always known that about Patrick Reed. So, I think P. Reed at 7,400, projected around 4% in terms of ownership. The upside is there, y'all. I'm telling you, listen, if he found a little something before the PGA and things are going to start clicking again, he's the kind that can go from the form he's in now to a win. We know that. We know he can do that. All right. He's that good of a player, and he's that dominant when he's on. He can contend with the best in the field, with the best in the world. So I might want to actually be a little early with a guy like that. I don't want to be early on Abe Answer finding his form again, because Abe Answer, it's probably gonna be a gradual ascent to a win or a top 5, right? With Pete Reed, it could not be. We could go from miscut, looking like crap, to a 34th at the PGA, but gaining 5.2 strokes on approach, to bang bang, and a win in Texas at a course that should suit his game as long as he can get it in the fairway off the tee. So I think Pete Reed's one to take a little jump on, because he gives you a lot of upside. And of the players I named, currently as of Tuesday afternoon is the lowest projected player of the 4 I named, including Russell Knox, Stewart Cink, and Nate Lashley. Like people hate Patrick Reed, even when he's playing good, he's low owned because people don't want to cheer for him and they don't like him. So the edge that you can get and the upside that he has potential to deliver in terms of GPPs and tournaments on DraftKings, I think is worth a look. So check it out. Thank you for watching. Thank you and support front9coffee.com and use promo code TJ10 to get you some extra coffee and check out the other content here on the YouTube channel. We're pumping out a lot of it this week for the Charles Schwab. And there you go. May your screens be green. Hopefully some of these sleepers work. Drop a comment who your sleeper is. And that way, you can't get mad at me if this one sucks and then yours sucks. Then you'll feel less inclined to give me a mean comment. There we go. See ya.